in this presentation is taken from my book, Increase Your Value as an English Teacher. Hope you like it.
So, my name is Tania Alonso. I'm graduated from Applied Linguistics and I'm Cambridge certified in ISEL and TKT. I founded 10 years ago iStudy, which is an institution that offers different kind of services regarding bilingual education. And I'm the author of the book, Increase Your Value as an English Teacher, Strategies and Certifications in the Marketplace, which is from where I took the ideas for this masterclass. In this presentation, you will discover if you're a highly qualified teacher, the importance of international certification that can add value to your CV. What are some teaching practices that you can do in your class in order to be unforgettable? Some ways that you can make your own entrepreneur projects as an English teacher. And I'm going to give you an example of one entrepreneur, Sylvia Arambide, that she has a program specializing in conversation classes. So I will share with you how she did in order to do this extra income. So in order to start, let's make some questions in order to find out how qualified you are as a teacher. We have some questions. I want you to write on a piece of paper your answers, either if it's yes or no. So here we go. The first question, do you have a degree in English teaching? We know that there are some teachers there that we love them, but you're not like, you don't have a degree on English teaching. You're accountants, engineers, lawyers, but just write yes or no. Do you have a degree specialized in didactics, in English teaching? Another question, do you have an extra certification in English teaching? Here you can consider any other diploma or short courses that you have taken regarding bilingual education. Next question, do you attend teaching-related event courses? There are always event courses regarding teaching English all around the year. We have Mextiso, we have Anupi, we have other conferences, either long and short conferences. Do you go to them? Do you attend them? Or how often do you attend this event, right? Yes or no? Another, do you read books in English? Any kind of book, even a novel or documentaries, I don't know, any kind of book in English. Next question, do you have friends whose first language is English? I mean, do you talk with them when you have any questions regarding a word? Do you have someone to ask what is it, the meaning, or the translation even? Another question, do you teach English with a memorable mark? Do you do something special in your classroom? Do your students or the classmates know you because something special? Write on your piece of paper, yes or no. Next question, have you studied or traveled abroad? You know that study or an experience abroad gives you a lot of cultural background in order to teach English. So do you have that experience? Have you ever studied or traveled or either work outside of Mexico? And the last question, do you offer your professional services to others? I'm not talking about your job at a school, but what other professional services do you offer to people regarding English teaching? So once you have your yes or no, you're going to find out if you can be considered to be a high qualified teacher. You can think for yourself and decide if you are a high qualified teacher. So what is the true about nowadays is that the institutions, schools, principals, colleagues, and either our own students in their classes, in our classes, they are asking us for a lot of curriculums or details in your CV. They want us to be super English teachers. They want us to have English certifications because they always ask us, where do you study English, teacher? Did you live in the United States? What is your level of English? Have you taken an exam? So they ask us that. They also want they want the teachers to be, well, teacher related. They want us to have a degree on teaching English or some certifications. And also they want us to know how many years we have given English classes in the past. They don't feel comfortable whenever you say, oh, this is my first year of teaching English. That is not giving them a lot of confidence. That is the reality. This is what we need to face every day whenever we go to an institution and ask for a job, or whenever we start a new class, especially when we're working with adults. They ask us this kind of questions, you know. So that's why we decide to have this masterclass, because I'm going to give you 3 out of the 7 strategies to become a valued English teacher. Like I said, this presentation I'm doing right now, this masterclass, the ideas of this presentation are taken from my book. In my book, I share some other ideas in order to have or to become a highly qualified teacher. So let's see 3 today. The first one, very first one, are international certification. A teacher that have an international certification can have add or value to your CV, and this can help teachers to have better job offers or an easy promotion. An English certification especially gives you an official mark to show your right level of English. So whenever you go to a new job or a new class, you can share with your students, hey, you know what, I'm C1 or I'm C2, and you can also share that in your CV so your principal will really know what is your level of English. But for sure you know English because you're asking for an English position, but just to certify or to put the right level on it, I really recommend to have an English certification, because like I said, they can improve a lot your application and your CVs, and also can help you to, well, in the future, get a study trip or a work trip out of Mexico. In this chart that I'm sharing you here today, we can see the different language testing we have around the world. As you can see, we have Cambridge Proficiency, which is the oldest one, and then we have TOEFL. Both, we can say that Cambridge and TOEFL are the ones that are more recognized. Then we have IELTS, which is also super popular, especially if you are asking for a study trip or to do a master in abroad. Then by 2001, the Common European Framework of Reference of Language appears. So that can give you an idea, not only to show the level of English you have. This framework gives you a reference of all languages around. So it's super easy, especially if you're in the market of language, to understand the level of English you have when you give in your CV as a Common European Framework reference of language. If you put A, A1, A2, BC, then it's going to be better to show up your real language or your real English level. Then we have the TOEFL IBT, which is the new version of TOEFL. This is internet-based test, so that means that you do it on a laptop or a computer. We have the APTIS in 2012, and the newest one, very recent, the Oxford Test of English. Remember, this is the Common European Framework of Reference, so most of the exams are regulated according to this chart that I'm pretty sure you know. We have basic users, independent, and proficiency. A teacher may be between B2 to C1 in order to have a good level of English and to give English classes. Of course, you may be in B2 or C1. So this gives you a reference of the language, not even you, but to your students also. It's important to know the real language level of your students. The Cambridge proficiency and the IELTS, remember, they are Cambridge, but they are both Cambridge or exams, or they are regulated by Cambridge University. Both exams are based on the Common European Framework, like I said. For Cambridge, we have different exams, as you can see here. The first column, it states the exams that are for young learners, kids between 7 to maybe 16-year-old. And the IELTS is the exam that is asked in many immigration offices and many schools around, that gives you bands. Also, you can see in the second column the exams, other proficiency exams for Cambridge, starting in the CAT and finishing in CPE. So one exam for every level according to the Common European Framework of References. In Mexico, we have two institutions, well, it may be more, but this is two official institutions that will produce or help you to get one of these proficiency exams or IELTS. One is International House, the other one, the Anglo. Both are located all around Mexico, so it's easy for you, if you don't live in Monterrey where I am based, it's easy for you to find where can you have these exams and add that to your CV in order to become more popular or a value teacher. In the other hand, we have TOEFL. TOEFL is regulated by ETS, which is an American institution. And in Mexico, we have Biblioteca Benjamin Franklin in Monterrey, especially, where you can go and take this exam, either the ITP version or the IBT, which is the newest. And this is an exam that tests English in American English, different to IELTS that test English in British English. Yeah, so you have these exams. And we have the newest that is regulated by British Council. You know, British Council has applied Cambridge exam for many years. So in 2012, decided to get, well, its own exam. So they create APTIS, which is a very flexible test. First of all, because it's totally online, you can have it wherever you are. Worldwide recognized, it tests you for abilities and it gives you a mark according to the Common European Frameworks of References. And the most important is that it is less expensive than either TOEFL or IELTS. So it's easy. If you don't have by now any official exam and you don't want to spend many money on this, I recommend you to get this because it's only about 1,500 pesos. So it's not that expensive. And I'm pretty sure that it will give you more value to your CV to have an official test that gives you an official level of English. So there you have. Now, there's another part of certification which are the most important for our market. Obviously, the teaching certification. This certification not only proves that you are well in English, but that you are very well capable of teaching it. They for sure add value to your CV and they can give you more chances to either a job offer or a promotion. And it can give you the opportunity to also work abroad, because what teaching certifications do are well, it certifies that you are well to give English classes either in Mexico or outside of Mexico. Here I can show you the Cambridge English Test Teaching Framework in a chart that goes from foundation programs to expert. So we have, this is like the steps to follow in order to become very proficiency in teaching English according to Cambridge evaluations. So the very first one and most popular is the TKT that you can either share with the Click version and the Young Learners version. Then you have CELTA, and we can go to CELTA either in developing and proficiency. I am not talking many about ISEL because it will disappear in 2019. So it's not an exam or a certification that you will find in the future. And then you can become expert doing a master or a PhD degree in the future. So as you see, there are many certifications that you can take in order to add value to your CV, but in a specific your profession, which is English teacher. The TKT, the 3 exams, well, 3 models in TKT and 1 for Click and 1 for Young Learners are just exams. You go one day, you take the exam. CELTA and Delta, they are not only exams, but they infer to have a course, and you have to do some practices. So it's like a mix of exam with work with classes. So if you want to take CELTA and Delta, you need to be in front of a group in order to do your practices. I will talk deeply about the teaching knowledge test because this is the official test. It is like mandatory. In a few years, every teacher will be able to have this certification in order to be qualified. This exam tests knowledge about teaching English to speakers of other languages because it includes contents about language, the use of language, all the background in order to become a teacher, and all the aspects involved in teaching and learning. So it is an exam that's not that is not testing you the level of English, but how you teach it. And it gives you an official standard and international standard that you are capable to have this test. The TKT has three exams. In order to have the complete TKT, you need to study 3 different topics. The very first one refers to language, the background, and the process of learning teaching. The second module, it's focused on lesson planning and use of resources for language teaching. And the third one is managing the teaching and learning process, which is all that takes place in the classroom. The exam, like I say, every module, it's 1 exam, and they are all paper and pencil objectives tests. So there's no a computer version of it yet. Probably in the future it will be. Every exam has 80 questions, and you have 80 minutes in order to answer the questions. At the end, you will find or you will get a certification for every module, and the certification comes in bands from 1 to 4, being the number 4 the most recognized. So if you have band 3 and band 4, you are okay in your field. You're a good English teacher. Now, let's see about international experience, which is the strategy number 2. You know that an international education is the key to the world. It provides a real second-speaking countries example. It's not the same when you are giving, for example, English literature and you have never gone to England. So whenever, you know, it's common when you have our textbooks that they come with different examples of real life for English-speaking countries. So it's always good to be like your own example. You can share your ideas. So that's why I can say that it improves the experience in your language. It makes you to have to get in touch with natives, and then create speaking environments like with groups, or share their ideas, awake in your students the curiosity for international trips as you are sharing real aspects of your trips or your experience abroad. Your students, they will feel the curiosity, and they will love also to go and try an international trip. So there are different international programs that you can pick as a teacher. First of all, you can choose an English course, because you know that as a teacher, we never stop learning. So our English is not perfect because we are not native. So as long as you can spend 4 and 8 or either 24 or a year of studying English abroad, it will really increase your confidence in giving your English classes. So an English course will help you a lot to get more confidence of your language and the level you have. We also have work and study certificates, which is diplomas, usually 1 year, they last about 1 year, that can give you the chance to work and study at the same time. There are different programs in business, customer service that you can join and get the experience to study, practice your English, yes, because you're in an immersion program. And what is most important, get a work permit that allows you to pay your expenses, your living, your transportation. So if your income is not that much, well, whenever you join a work and study program, you are able to have or to get many more weeks in the program abroad or in the country. Also, we have very interesting TESOL programs, which are short programs, 4, 8, or 12-week programs that focuses on the abilities to teaching English for students of a second language. It's very important because in these courses, you have the opportunity to share ideas with other teachers from other countries, and you can come back to Mexico full of ideas, full of comments, full of experiences and other cultures. The courses are not long. You can take them in the summer when more teachers have vacations, and they are not very expensive. A 4 weeks program costs about 2,700 Canadian dollars. You can do this in Canada, which is a country open to opportunities that welcomes Mexican students every month and is happy to have them in their country. And if you want to become very, very professional, have the chance to work, get a post-work permit, and if successful, become a resident in Canada, you can choose a postgraduate. We have one postgraduate program in Niagara College, which is a very touristic place in Canada, and there you can find a postgraduate in teaching English for students of a second language, which is 1 year postgraduate. What it calls my attention is that in Canada, a postgraduate lasts 1 year. You do it in 2 semesters, about 6 subjects every semester, and that's it. You become a postgraduate. And well, you know, in Mexico, the masters usually last about 2 or 3 years. Well, they are super mandatory, like you have to do many, many things in order to have a master. And in Canada, it's easier, and it's, you know, it's international. You get an international certification. At the same time, you can work. At the same time, you are, you know, improving a lot your language. You are working, you're having experience. It's so awesome. So whenever you think about international programs, you really think that there are some programs, specific programs for us as an English teacher. There are, like I say, many destinations that you can pick. In Canada, you can do the postgraduate that I told you about. You can do the certificate. There's the TESOL and English program. In United States, there's the OPER program, that is the program that most teachers, young teachers that are single can take. It's super, super flexible, and it's the less expensive program in the list. And you have Ireland, that it gives you also the chance to work and study. The program is 33 weeks, so it gives you like a free year in order to get in contact with other cultures and you know, practice your level of English also. I remember I have this student, Anna Karen. I gave her English classes in my school some years ago, about 5 years ago. And well, I was always talking about my own experience when I was a student in Canada. And I'm always sharing that I travel often to Canada because of my job. I have to go and, you know, meet some schools and etc. So she told me one day, teacher, I'm going to finish high school soon, and I talked with my dad. And he said yes to my school trip. I was like, what do you mean you're going to travel? So I was not even imagining the impact that I was doing when I share my own testimonial. Now, Anna Karen, this is what she's saying. I decided to study English in Canada after my teacher showed in class some pictures of her last trip to Toronto. I love it and immediately wanted to have the same experience. Anna Karen studied 6 months in Toronto in one of the popular schools there. She had a very, very great time. She met a lot of people. Years later, I saw her going to Colombia in order to meet again with her friends. And her level of English improved a lot. She's now almost C1, which is super for a young woman like her. So I'm very proud of my students that travel, and I know that if you as teachers decide to also start doing some trips abroad and bring that experience to your class, that will give a lot of value to your classes. Your students are going to love your lessons. You're going to be memorable. They are going to be remember you for many years, and maybe one day they will also follow a trip to outside of Mexico just because they hear you. So let's do it, teacher. Let's travel, get this experience. And now, strategy number 3. Start your own entrepreneurial project. You know that's this in this market, we are not very well paid, so we have to do many things in order to survive. So become an entrepreneur means that you can be your own boss. And what is most important is that you can do whatever you enjoy the most. You are doing something that you love, that is your passion, and also, well, you're gonna get paid for that. You are able to innovate, create new things. And teachers, English teachers, we are usually very creative. So if you put this into practice and you get to the right people, you can get your own project and work with your personal growth, create your business, your school, your English club, whatever you want and it's in your mind, you can put that into practice and become an entrepreneur and get some extra income. There are some ideas that I can share you. I'm consider myself an entrepreneur. I have 3 running business regarding bilingual education. And I know what you know, it's a scare at the beginning, but once you do it, then it's like, you know, the success is super great. So what are some ideas that you can do with no a lot of money? You can start giving private lessons. For that, you need to create your personal branding, create some pictures, start talking about how good teacher you are, etc. Also, conversation clubs are easy to create and very demanding. There are people outside that already knows English and they just want to, you know, start practicing it in order to don't forget. So then you can call with a conversation club. You can join in free places. You don't have to pay for that. You don't have to have a building for that. And you can, well, have money for this, for the organization. You can invent some ideas and some practices in order to start creating the conversation. I'm really sure that the students will appreciate, and at the same time you're going to do something that you love and you're having extra income for that. The freelance classes works the same way. You can start focusing on one special field like business or classes for young learners, etc. Also, there are online programs. You can create your program and use platforms that are free in order to give the classes online to worldwide, either in Mexico or outside of Mexico, or even create your own teaching material creator like flashcards and worksheets and build packages and sell that to your colleagues or either to your teacher, to your students, sorry. And also a blog is a good idea. A blog or a YouTube channel, they are very good ideas to have extra incomes. It's not easy, but once if you put your heart on it and your passion, I'm really sure that those ideas would work for you. I have this case. It's a real entrepreneur example. I met Sylvia through her Facebook page. She has founded Fun English in 2018. What she does is go to different places, invite people, and get conversation classes through games or other activities. I remember that she told me that once she learned English, she didn't like it the way the schools teach English. So she decided to get practices outside of the classes where there's no fun, where nobody can laugh at her. So in this environment, many people has followed her in order to practice English because it's important. There are many people outside there that is needing English for central reason. And then Sylvia came with this big idea of having conversation classes just to practice in free places like Fundidora in Monterrey. So she's great doing that. She makes these classes every two weeks. And she's having more than 35 people in her clubs. It's fun, like the name, Fun English. You can find her on Facebook. And she's having fun with that. She's having fun with that. The club is enjoying the lessons. They feel they are improving in an environment that it doesn't feel like in a class. So it's a very good idea. Do not copy it, but just taking as an example. This is what it is. As you can see, Fun English is a conversation club in order to improve the skills of speaking and listening. And she uses board games, role plays, and other activities. She's not even a teacher. She studied communication, I guess. But she's very, very good at doing this because she has that problem. As she has that problem, she said, well, I'm gonna create this. We as teachers, we can help to many people over there to solve one problem regarding English language. So just think about what are the needs of my classes, and through that, make your own entrepreneur project. So that's it. Those are my 3 ideas. This is my contact information. I'm sure you know this. And remember, these ideas are taken from my book, Increase Your Value as an English Teacher, Strategies and Certifications in the Marketplace. The book is 380 pesos, Mexican pesos, and it's available in English and Spanish. If you need the book or if you want to get the book, just give me a message and I will give you more information about that. Thank you so much for your attention. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope that you have liked this masterclass. See you soon. Bye-bye.